I'm talking about wellness. I'm using a filter thing on the back, so this is new. I'm wondering if it's working. So you all can let me know. Welcome, come on in. Let's talk about self-care. And I'll just introduce myself and tell you a little bit about who I am, what I am doing on TikTok. Why are you on TikTok of all places? Like, you could be speaking anywhere in academia. Why are you on TikTok? You know, it's seen as like a silly place to be, or it's not serious at all. It's for fun, you know. But I'm here. So let me see. I need to invite some guests, is what it's saying. I don't know about that. Let's see. I'm seeing some folks coming in. Welcome, you all. I'm just going to tell you all a little bit about who I am, and why am I on TikTok? Like, of all the places where I could be and where I have presented or shared, educated, why TikTok? This is not academia. Why here? It's a place for silliness and fun and not being serious and all of that. Number one is because in order to teach the masses, you have to go where the masses are. In order to reach the people, you have to go where the people are. That's what Jesus did. Jesus went to where the people were, right? And Jesus is my role model. That's who I follow, right? I'm not like him, but I aspire to be like him. So I am on TikTok to reach the masses about the message of self-care and wellness for everyone. My primary audience is for educators and people, like me in my world, right? That's why I put together the Doctoral Aftercare and Healing Group on another platform, and I curate that. It's a safe place for doctorates and doctoral candidates to come, talk, share, learn, give, take in a safe space. All right. So, I'm on TikTok to reach the masses. You go where the people are. And if you all want to hear about self-care and wellness, and I think I do it from a different perspective, a different angle, because I'm looking at the spiritual components of self-care. I'm looking at aspects of self-care that we may overlook or we may minimize in our own lives. And then once it's brought to our attention, then we can pay attention to what those things are that we should be fine-tuning in our life. And then, we get a little better with each day. So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That is how you eat an elephant. All right? Okay, so I'm Dr. Lynn Daniel, PhD, EDS. I'm the self-care evangelist. And if you follow me on any other platform like YouTube, you'll see on my channel where I have presented in many different venues, primarily in an academic sense, related to academia or related to issues that impact academia and families. So, ACEs, you'll find a presentation on my YouTube channel where I spoke at the Arizona Adverse Childhood Experiences Consortium, which I am a member there. I engage with them there. And so you'll see that video there. And then also there are other videos, So just go over there and check them out so you can see. Okay, so here's my book that I'm encouraging you all to either get the digital copy for $3 or buy the physical copy for $13, I believe, $12.99. And you don't even have to start here, to be honest, right? So I have given these books, gifted them to people. I gift these to people because I want to get the message out. Why do I want to get the message out? Because it is important for us, especially to young adults. Young adults learning self-care. Because teenagers don't want to listen to their parents, right? There's that relationship in the US, in the United States, and even probably in other countries abroad, where the parent-child relationship strains during adolescence years. So 12 to 21 or whatever, right? Early 20s. And so they don't want to hear parents, and parents don't even typically take the time to just listen or engage their children, their young adult, in conversations about mental health, physical health, emotional wellness, and that kind of thing. If they do, they're more likely lecturing or telling, don't do this, don't do that, or lecturing. So hey, I just figure, lighten the load. Put the information in a friendly, voiced, easy to read manner. Like, it's written in a way that is conversational and easy to read. I'm inviting you, when you read it though, to slow down and read, mark, and annotate it. Like, take your time to pull out the nuggets, because that's how you bring it to the forefront. You bring to light the nuances, the little pieces of the message, right? Like, some people don't even realize that they are in an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship, because it feels normal. It feels like what they've endured. Some people are aware that something just isn't right, but even still, they'll gravitate to what feels familiar, because you have to learn new skills in order to engage with or people who are a little more healthier than you, emotionally healthy people. They have a different level of skill sets too. And so I learned that young, started when my circle, because of the communities that I was a part of when I was an adolescent, a teenager, and college age. Those circles, you learn, no matter what circle you are in, you are learning skills through modeling, through observation, through just taking in, seeing patterns of interactions and all, right? And so if you want to get well, and if you want to be able to engage with people who are a little more healthier than you, socially more equipped to engage, have conversations, listen to people, pay attention to details in conversations, notice the nuances of nonverbal communication, and all of those are all skills that we need to brush up on when we are becoming whole and moving towards wholeness. Because if the only way that of communication that is yelling, one-upping people, or being aggressive, if that's like the primary way that you've experienced people, then you got to know that that's not healthy, right? In all scenarios, it has its place, but its place is not in every interaction. So, so yeah, okay. So that's why I'm here. I am on TikTok to reach the masses with the message of self-care and wellness. Thank you all. If y'all have questions, ask. Yesterday I had like almost 70 people in the room. The day before I had like 100 and over 100. I think it was close to 150-ish. And so not very many people, but hey, listen, if we were all in a room together, you would be a nice sized crowd to get this message out. And if the information is meaningful to you, which means you leave with some ideas of how you can use this information to help yourself or to help someone else, then I've done my job. That's why I'm here on TikTok, to reach the masses. Okay, so the last time when I opened this book and we were reading through it, we were on chapter 6, self-connection is key. And we're still in that chapter, but we're not going to read through it today. I am just going to invite you to get the book and read through that chapter. But then you have to frame give this book context, so that way you will know what you're looking for when you're looking in that mirror in the frame. So I'm framing this book, the information in my book about how to deal with toxic relationships, right? How to either get out of them, or if you can't do that, how to navigate them, right? So I'm framing this information in The Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins. Okay, so this is the book, The Map of Consciousness Explained by David Hawkins. David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD, a proven energy scale to actualize your ultimate potential. So he's talking about how we are all born with levels, like these energetic fields that pulsate from us because everything is energy. And so he talks about the levels starting all the way at the bottom with shame, right? And so this becomes like a part of who you are, your psychological development or makeup. And you have to do some work to move beyond for healing, right? And healing, so I told you all I was going to investigate why he put pride up here. Why is pride right beneath the healing zone? He says because pride feels better than shame, guilt, apathy, grief. It feels better than all of these energies, these frequencies that are beneath it. But although it feels good, it's a falsehood, because it's not enough to get you beyond, to break you free totally from the toxicity and the harm that has been put upon you. So I encourage you to get this information like this. You can download and get this free. You don't even have to pay for it. So I am an educator. Okay, so I am a language literacy educator. And so in my field of study, so we learn, starting early on in my studies to become a teacher, we learn childhood development. And because I was specializing in adolescent education, adolescent literacy, adolescents, across the board, then I took courses that specialized in adolescent psychology and looking at the family and looking at the dynamics and looking at the developmental phases of adolescence, and noting that even the experts, the age range of adolescenthood is like not totally set in stone, but some studies say it's from like 9 to 25, and others say it's around 9, 10 up to 21, 2019. So it's a range, and it really depends on, I think the range, I think I could be safe by saying that range is there because everybody doesn't develop on the same timeline. Some people develop slower, faster, and so the adolescent brain is still developing, growing, and making those connections to help them make very good critical decisions. That's still happening in your 20s, right? So, young people getting into relationships is normal, like teenagers having a mate, boyfriend or girlfriend. That's normal because that's a part of their development. But then what isn't normal is when teenagers don't have the skill set to look at the qualities of the person and know what those qualities mean. Because most teenagers and children are very open-minded and non-judgmental. And I know judgment gets a bad rap. People say, don't judge me, don't judge others. But you have to. I think parents should teach their children to judge. And this is how you do it. You have to be able to judge what is right for you based on your family, the culture of your family, the morals of your family, the values of your family when you're a teenager. You have to consider those things, especially if your family is healthy. Now, my book is talking about toxic. There's a chapter in there, toxic family members. So if your family is toxic, your parents are toxic, then how do you judge what is right for you? If you're wanting to be free of those toxic behaviors, then you have to be able to identify, well, I don't want to have to deal with that. I would prefer to have someone with this temperament or this mindset or this way of dealing with others. So it's so many layers, multidimensional to self-care, wellness, social emotional learning components, then your physical routines, then your spiritual routines, then your physical living space routines, which I lightly touched on yesterday. Here's that article I was telling you all about. Speaking of your physical living space, this study is called A Simple Index to Measure Hygiene Behaviors. And there are 6 researchers on this study. And this study was conducted in 2006, so it's been a while. But the information on here is valuable and timeless. And this study is talking about the cleanliness routines in homes, and the hygiene behaviors in families in Guatemalan children or in Guatemala. Okay. And it measured hygiene indices because in Guatemala, children were getting diarrhea from poor hygiene practices. People not washing their hands, utensils being unsanitized, dishes being unsanitary and the living conditions being unsanitary. And so the point I was making in the video where I was talking about your living space needing to be clean, and I was admonishing you to go look on the International Self-Care Foundation's website because it speaks to that level of cleanliness as well. It's very important. And I know yesterday I was sharing with you all that I had purchased some lip gloss off of TikTok, and a friend said, "So you are going to get that. You're going to get that tested, right? You're going to get that tested under a microscope for bacteria, right, and viruses and stuff." And I was like, I didn't think of that, but I understand what you mean, because if these are small business owners, and I'm not trying to condemn this lady, right? I'm just showing you what I purchased, right? So I don't know what her hygiene practices are, but I know the lip color is very emollient. But yeah, if we don't know if they are making certain things without being regulated, then we don't know the true sanitary conditions of the factory or the place where these things were made. So yeah, it's just self-care is more than manicures and massages. Is more than going to get your hair done however often. That's a part of it. I'm not minimizing that, but I'm just saying the scope is so much broader and deeper, and the implications are deeper. So adolescents, teenagers, like, who are moving into adulthood very rapidly when they go through 4 years of high school, which passes so quickly. By the time they graduate high school, they need to have skills to not only manage themselves, have good executive functioning skills with managing their time, their resources, managing like decision making, managing and all of these things, right? There's so many components. And then if your adolescent is leaving high school and they don't have these skill sets, then they go into the world, and it's a struggle. So that's why I'm here. I can't save the world, and I do not intend to try to. But there's a little niche of people who, I already have the attention of a small group of people. And so that's really all I need, a small group of people who are willing to listen, learn, share, have an exchange of ideas on these topics, with the intent of growing and doing better. Just doing better, personally doing better for your family, doing better, right? Yeah. So parents, if you can figure out a way, if you have teens, maybe you can start by asking them, or maybe telling them, the person who, like, you could say something like this: when I was a teen, the person who influenced me the most was, and then you tell them like who that person was. Now, if you feel like, I don't feel like that's a good or positive situation I want to share with them, then make up one. Make up one. One that has the lesson that you want them to walk away with. The reason I'm saying to do this is as an icebreaker to begin building safe, calm communications with your teens. Communication comes like it can be initiated just in like a regular setting of the day, or you can wait till something goes wrong and you need support systems around you, and then they come and then you feel like you can open up. But like, for instance, I'll give you an example. A while, it's been a long time. I had a